Hi there, my name is Chad Palmer. I want to talk about the stimulation of thought. So, there's me. This is something that I go through pretty often, and starting to get it figured out and feel a little bit more comfortable about it, but at times it's been pretty irritating. So I perceive messages at times that are repeated. Like, for example, beautiful lady wants me to go downstairs. Okay. So I take that into consideration. I hear it all the time. Sometimes at night when I'm laying in bed, I'll hear this sound, or it's not even considered a sound. It's like a series of vibrations that I'll perceive this message that this girl wants me to go downstairs. Sometimes in bed I'll be laying there and I'll feel like a vibration in my neck while this is taking place. But I think what's most important is considering what I think about when I receive this signal. So, downstairs, I'll think of all the different things that I can think about that have to do with stairways in my life that have left an impression, which after going through it over and over and over again, only leaves a few stairways to note. There's a stairway, for example, one of the ones that's pretty irritating, I have to say, to think about, is that here I'm in Utah, I'm around the LDS church, and there's a stairway in the conference center where people give speeches. Okay. Then I'll think of a stairway that my friend took me down in a real fancy house back in the Bay Area, where I saw a mirror that had two hands. Right in the left hand, holding like candles, I think is what it was. With that and those two mixed, so this one at Conference Center, we'll just put mansion, and then from there I'll think of the Conference Center again, where the prophet of the church gave a talk, I think it was in the 80s, and he was talking about people being an anonymous donor to a hospital, and he mentioned 2 times in the talk that the right hand knows not what the left hand is doing. Okay. Okay, so as this series of different instances plays out in my mind, I have to try to figure this out, because this is obviously some sort of riddle or puzzle that I have to try to figure out. So with this one, you know, conference center, mansion, right and left hand, not knowing. But I'll tell you what, at the end of this leads to confusion. That's all. Just straight confusion. I don't know what the heck right hand, left hand, not knowing what it's doing, all that. I have no idea what that means. It could mean anything you want it to mean, but it's really confusing, you know. Let's see, other stairways that aren't so confusing. I'll think about, I had a building out in my hometown. That had a stairway. I ended up, when I owned it, I painted a volcano. I don't have any orange ink, but on the stairway. So back to this, where this girl wants me to go downstairs. I have to think about, what's that have to do with it? This one doesn't really add up to too much. Another downstairs. Let's see. I always think of back at, you know, one of my old stomping grounds, Lake Tahoe. There was a house that I worked on that had a real long and windy stairway. It went down and was sitting on rocks and went down to the beautiful lake. And sometimes I'll think about, and I'll get a message, something about stand-up paddling. Which that's pretty relaxing when it comes to thinking about stairs. That's fine, I'd do that. Let's see, what else? Sometimes I've thought about stairs in the sense of like looking at one another. Go downstairs. Not really. That doesn't make much sense. Go downstairs here. Maybe. Go downstairs here. I don't think so. This one right here is one that's pretty much sticks out in my mind a lot. Probably because it doesn't have that sense of finality to it, where it's, you know, either makes sense or doesn't make sense. It's still like a riddle with all this other information involved. And especially with the church being involved in this situation and how influential, you know, these conference talks can be. It helps me, you know, or it doesn't help me, but it causes my mind to really have to process a lot of that information. Because I don't know what that means, the right hand and the left hand and all this kind of stuff. I really don't. So, leads to confusion right there. When I think about this kind of technology here of receiving these signals that you perceive as voices, which is just stimulation. Think about the different uses through history that it could be used for, and probably the most I would think once it was innovated and considered for use, probably one of the first things that it was used for was for interrogation. So if you sat there and you repeated a message over and over and over to someone, they would they would sit there and think about all these different scenarios. And then each one of the scenarios would either make sense or it wouldn't. It would cancel itself out. Or it would be potential. Also, another thing is once you can go through these and you're able to cancel them out, you don't think about them anymore. So it's like a light bulb that has just gone out, just is off. But as I continue to hear this message, this go downstairs thing, I think about the person involved, and it's been pretty drawn out, and I'm not even supposed to talk about her. It's kind of the difficult part of it, and not supposed to mention her name or try to communicate because I've been accused of, or I actually pled guilty to stalking, which is a difficult time that I dealt with about a year ago. And I don't know what to make of that, It's kind of difficult to deal with. But this situation of hearing receiving these signals, that go just directly to my brain that I have to try to figure out, goes unexplained at this point. There isn't any I haven't gotten any real firm explanation that this is who it is or this is what it is, and be able to say, hey, at times this is really harassing me and causing me a lot of difficulties, and tells me to make decisions that could potentially get me in trouble. It's kind of dangerous. So it goes unexplained, and that's really not that cool. But to look at the benefits, you basically as a person goes through this process, it deducts from what's taking place in your memories to whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I can't spell doesn't. If it doesn't make sense, it continues to just kind of keep branching out into all these different scenarios, which isn't really that awesome for progress. But I can see where it's pretty good for mental conditioning, because it'll cause you to kind of just stop thinking about it. If it doesn't make sense, you have to try to stop thinking about it. But I think our minds ultimately want to try to figure out puzzles, and to have different scenarios make sense, and for them to fit a given pattern. It's like having a puzzle that you have pieces missing. Not the best looking puzzle there. But you got pieces missing. And that's not that awesome, because you usually want to finish the puzzle and have the completed picture. Beautiful tree, and maybe some mountains in there. Little river coming through it. So that's just one instance of perceiving this message over and over and over again, and then having to consider everything that's within my mind that has left an impression that has to do with stairs. So I haven't completely figured it out yet. It's just it's gonna continue. I don't know if I will ever figure it out, but that's just a kind of a slice of life of knowing that the stimulus could take place by a voice, a picture, you might even smell a smell, but voices and pictures are pretty critical in the situation because we're just inundated with that kind of information. So to know what you think about when or for me to know what I think about, because it is definitely an individual journey to have to go through, that I'm sure each person would have different stares that they think about if they were to be administered this kind of a signal where they had to continue to ruminate that thought over and over and over and over and over again. It's therapeutic, but it's also, like I said, if it went unchecked, it could be used as some sort of interrogation technique. So I appreciate you listening. I'll keep trying to figure out some of these different instances where I can try to explain them. I'll try to improve some of my drawing skills a little bit. Maybe I won't drink as much Red Bull. And then have a good day.